So Michael, I know that obviously there are a lot of issues that you probably run into when it comes to marketing and sales, especially when it relates to franchise development. What are some of the problems that you've run into over the course of your time with both Pinch a Penny and with Captain D's in the past?
I think where FRANdata has really helped me with a couple things is number one on the financing side. Pinch a Penny, we didn't really have a financing program. So when you're trying to partner with somebody who really understands financing, who's out there, and what's best for your brand, and I can't really think of anybody better to. I mean, I didn't even think of anybody to call other than FRANdata. And then in the past, when I was with Captain D's, we were really trying to tap into what the perception of the brand was with multi-unit franchisees. And because of their kind of deep network with multi-unit franchisees who they work with all the time in terms of financing, we really felt like doing an engagement with them where we actually went out to multi-unit franchisees and the perception of the brand that really helped us really tailor some offerings that we were doing to what the perception was out there by the franchisee community, and really helped us tailor what our target should be and whether the multi-unit franchisee was where we should be heading from a brand perspective. FRANdata really helped us in that regard.
No, absolutely. And what are some of the things that you did? What are some of the things that they did that really helped you to actually make actionable changes on some of those issues that you were running into?
Yeah. So on the financing side, they actually kind of evaluated what companies would work for us. Well, let me step back for a second. One of the things I think that they did, which was great, was really understand our business. Mm-hmm. So they really took a look at our business. They talked to me. They understood, and this was in both cases, they understood what was it about the brand, so they thoroughly understood what the brand was and then what we were looking for. And then specifically what they did on the financing side is they went out to partners that they know because they know a lot of different people in the space. So for example, they know SBA lenders, they know conventional lenders, they know private lenders who do their own. And so they could match that well. And then they would actually go and talk with them on our behalf and then not really give them our information. They would give us their information. And so it made it kind of a very safe environment as well for us to do. On the other engagement with my previous brand, Captain D's, again, they got to know the brand and what we were looking for, but then they actually went out and on that. And I think it was important for us and for the people that they were talking to that there was complete secrecy in terms of who was, they didn't have to worry about, oh, well, we'll say this about Captain D's. They could be completely transparent because they knew I had no idea who FRANdata was going to. I just knew that they were going to a group of individuals, and I got data about them in aggregate. It was really good information that we use to make decisions about where we should target and what we should target and how to get to this group, or whether we even wanted to try to sell to this group at all.
Sure, absolutely. I'm sure that based off of all of that information that you guys gathered, there were a lot of really valuable things that came out of that. What were some of the results that you had in both of your experiences working with FRANdata?
Yeah, well, I think the results on the financing side were that we really realized that the SBA route was really not the route that we needed to take from a financing standpoint. And it seemed like the natural given our investment level, but for a number of different, there's a number, I won't go into all the detail, but there's a number of things about our brand that's different than a lot of brands, and SBA just didn't make sense for us. So I think we've got, and we're still going down that path. We haven't actually partnered with anybody at this point, but we've got some really viable options, I think, that we didn't have before we talked to FRANdata. Mm-hmm. And on the other side, on the investigating with the multi-unit franchisees, it really taught us that we had our work cut out for us in terms of perception. The perception that the other that multi-unit franchisees had of the brand at that time was an old perception of an old brand. We had made a lot of changes, but they didn't know about those changes. So it really alerted us that we needed to be sure people really understood what the brand was now and how it was different from the past, and really go out and educate a lot more, because we always have a tendency, I think any of us, we have a tendency to think, oh, well, we made all these changes and they're obvious to us because we've been dealing with them for 3 or 4 months, so they must be obvious to everybody. And in hindsight, that seems really foolish. But at the time, and you're hearing this unbiased third-party data, you're like, oh gosh, we need to do a better job educating people. And that I think was a tremendous value.
Thank you so much for sharing, Michael. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Folks, if you want to learn more about FRANdata, please visit FRANdata. That's FRANDATA .com to learn a little bit more. Thanks.